Board of Health Program Policy and Appeals Committee meeting to order for Wednesday, December 4th, 2024. Teresa, would you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Baker?
Here.
Commissioner Leininger? Commissioner Matthew? Commissioner House?
No, we have Commissioner House sitting in for Commissioner Matthew.
I'll try my best to uphold.
Approval of the agenda. We have an agenda before us. Do I hear a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
Make a motion to approve the agendas presented.
We have motion support to approve the agenda as presented. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carried. Public comment. Do we have any public comment this morning? Item 3, unfinished business. There's nothing there. That moves us to item 4A, health officer evaluation tool. Before us on page 3 is the policy that we have adopted for the health officer evaluation. Lays out some timelines there as to when we will do that as well. And then we get into, I believe, the questions that have been used in the past for that. And Teresa, refresh my memory. So when we get those, there's an excellent, good, satisfactory, needs improvement.
It's at the very top of the
Yeah.
page.
Yeah, it's at the top of that page.
Yeah.
One of the things I noticed this year is I was doing that evaluation. There was a link to a detailed staff questionnaire survey, that we were provided as well. But the worst thing that I had was trying to look at all of those staff questions in a digital format and then try and do that health evaluation tool. I guess I'm a little cheap on my own personal side. I wasn't going to print that document. And so the other thing is, I guess I thought there were some questions on there that, really is that a question that should be asked of the health officer anymore? Because, with the structure within the health agency, we've got the administrative director who does the majority of that budgeting aspect. Yeah, the health officer is responsible for overseeing it, but is it their actual physical day-to-day job? And so should that still be a question on that evaluation tool? And again, it's not something that we have to, make changes on right now. I'm going to suggest that this continue to be an ongoing item of discussion, maybe an old business item as we continue through this. So I don't know, maybe it's somewhere in there, in that policy that we, maybe add some language that, Board of Health will be provided that, staff, forgive me, I forget what that's called, but it's a
Employee satisfaction.
employee satisfaction survey, at least a month before we have to do that evaluation. And just, just so that we're well informed, because there are questions in that health officer evaluation as far as their interaction with staff, and we don't
We don't
necessarily,
know the staff, right?
we don't necessarily see that on a day-to-day activity. That's where we have to have some of those tools come in to tell us.
Read that survey. Changed our opinion. See, the inspired employee to fill. It's not what employees think. It's how we interact.
Well, and so that then the question, should some of those questions still be on?
Right.
survey, John, you know, because there is a question, you know,
Well,
you
if
know,
not, excuse me.
and,
I think it-
Right, I mean, we don't want you not to see it. And if there were real systemic problems, I think that would point them out.
Who compiles is that you that compiles the employee surveys?
Are you still doing it?
Actually, no, I think Health Education Commission did it this year.
So,
I mean, it'd be more of a thing that we could take an average of what everybody said as opposed to, I mean, because we have no clue.
well, you have to remember too, though, that the employee.
There's gonna be discrepancies
Right.
throughout the highs, throughout the lows, take the middles and call it a day.
Some of the questions relate to Board of Health and their perceptions of the Board of Health. Are any of them ever here? Well, Justin's here. You know, but
well, some of the other directors are here.
You gotta take that
but
into- right.
Very few of,
so, yeah. I guess what I appreciate is what you had to say. You have to temper that. You know,
Right.
employees have an opportunity and we want to know what they think. It's an anonymous survey. And if they have a particular axe to grind because they had some situation that happened at the health department and they were called on it, you know, the survey may reflect how they feel that day.
That's what I'm saying, take the highs and, you know,
Yeah,
throw out everything, take the middle ground and that.
Well, my employees really
right.
think. I'm really shocked.
Yeah. It's
They like you?
usually a lot better than you think it might be, but yeah. But if they've got an axe to grind, you know, and
Oh, for sure.
every time an employee does,
That's a plan player count.
exactly.
Correct.
refresh my memory, please, Teresa, on the grading scale, is excellent a 1 or a 5?
I believe excellent is a. I have to go back to.
I was thinking the opposite.
Tell you here in just a jiffy.
There are other evaluation methods and tools, and I didn't know if you were interested in looking at any of those. So there's, you know, self-assessment tools based on goals that are set, that are actually end up getting completed by the executive and then reviewed by the board. I don't know if you are interested in going and looking at some of those options.
I mean, you basically give us a rundown of what your goals and what you've achieved. I mean, you're basically doing that anyway.
Mhm. Yeah.
I don't know that adding more paperwork to is always a better.
I do. I do a lot of, there are a lot of boards and they're all, the words the same.
So excellent is a 1.
That's 1, 2, 3, 4,
And then 5.
5, and so Vegas for good. And again, there was, I'd have to go back through again, well, question 7, handles problems in a professional manner. So, again, that's more day-to-day personal stuff. We're not involved in a lot of that, so, again, it's a question
For
that,
sure.
How do you even rank that? Right? That's
yeah, now, we just worked through an issue where I would have more basis in ranking that issue, with the campground there and
oh sure. Mhm.
in Hillsdale County, but
Right.
other than that, right, what do we have for that basis and knowledge on some of those questions to be able to
Well,
use those in an evaluation tool?
unless you've had that particular experience, you probably wouldn't, right?
Yeah.
We had real issues with COVID. Sorry. So it's more computer, face, but during the meeting, we do discuss it.
Mm-hmm.
I try to keep you informed of what's going on.
So,
I get a turn.
Correct.
Do more. I may have a problem.
again, yeah, nothing that I anticipated any action on today, but something, you know, make sure it's on the forefront.
Give us something to think. Your office.
So I will, draft you mentioned getting the copy of the annual employee satisfaction survey.
Yeah.
That's bullet number 4. So I'll
On the
just,
front.
on the front, in policy. So I'll just add at least 1 month prior,
Yeah.
there. So I'll draft that change up for you.
Yeah, that we've got the opportunity to have that in paper if we want it, or digitally, so that, right, we've got that.
And if you'd like, we can provide it to you with just the mean scores, or, you know, the weighted average, or however you would like it, rather than get the whole thing that comes with the pretty graphs that make it easy to look at, but hard to really read it compared. We can provide you just the weighted averages if you
That's
like.
reading them better.
Well, that would just be reading numbers, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I guess let us think about that, and maybe if you could take last year's and put it, you know, maybe provide that on paper so we could see what it would look like as it was, and with, you know, if we just change it to that mean score to see what that difference would be in that presentation.
We can do that.
Get that in your spare time, Teresa.
No problem.
Well, when you wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning,
I got till September, so I'm
I
good.
can do that.
No,
No.
no.
Oh,
we
you got
have
until
next
August?
month.
Yeah,
Next month,
okay, yes.
hopefully February. Well, if we're gonna continue to
Right.
discuss it,
Yeah,
you
right.
should see the
But-
2 options in
Yeah.
February
We
and
can
then,
say,
yeah.
right, and we'll talk about that.
Thanks, Becky. Appreciate your support.
It wasn't January.
Can we get your evaluation right now, Teresa?
All right. Moves us on to item 4B, personnel policy manual, some changes here.
Man, wow.
They're highlighted there on page 5 of the packet.
I forgot to number the packet pages, or this one just didn't get done.
It's just that page because I had to add to it. I had,
Here we go, beating up Teresa again.
sorry,
Yeah,
Yep, just that one page got changed out.
Page 7, we're looking at, right?
No, it's, well, page 5 shows the changes,
Oh,
and then we get into
7
the
shows
actual,
up too, yeah.
well, then it starts to show that fact changes, and those numbers, once it's all approved, will probably be back to where they were, because what we have in front of us is the draft document with the strikeouts and the addition. And when you end up picking up strikeout stuff, it'll shrink that document back down.
so you wanna look at them each at a time then, so. Page 11 of your packet or page 6?
Or do we wanna go over anything we've got?
Well, it's just cleaner.
Right, I mean, did you have anything that you didn't like? Right,
Not really. I'm a little concerned that we're making this change to the sick leave accrual section
Which
right now,
which
which is
section?
page 25.
You think it might change yet? Who knows?
If I knew that, I'd go to Vegas and
Become
25.
home. Well,
it shows on page 25, it says page 25, updated sick leave accrual amount section to comply with the new law.
That's page 30 of your packet, Rusty.
Or it would be page 25, what would be page 25 of the,
Neat packet.
Just
well, so we did send this for attorney review with the changes that we did make. We had held off on the sick leave thing, but of course, Andrew, Breggy, said, well, we're doing this, we should probably, update your sick time stuff. But we could hold off on that until February, but, recognize that we, talked with the other committee on Monday about not holding committee meetings in January because the committee members have not been selected in advance of the January meeting. So we could bring you in January the personnel policies without a committee meeting, reinserting the sick leave stuff, if you wish. Or we could take it up. When does this go into effect? February what?
February,
That's, I think.
So maybe we'd still be able to get it in.
Do you expect
before
it's gonna change? I mean, what's the reasoning?
okay, so remember, this was part of the voter initiated legislation
the-
from 2018 that was adopted by the legislature and then amended at the end of the year, which then changed that and did not require the unlimited carryover paid sick leave. That the Michigan Supreme Court ruled that adopt and change in the calendar year was unconstitutional this year. And so which also had an implication on minimum wage and tip
Tip
wage
employees.
as well. Everything that I've read said that there's a coalition even amongst the Democrats that there have to be some changes made to this before the end of the year.
So you think it's gonna change again?
I think the legislature is going to adopt something to change it.
Mhm.
Now,
Then there's no sense amending this until,
they are,
It's February 21st. It goes into effect.
okay,
Which
yeah.
our board meeting is after that, so.
it is. Well, it would be after the 25th anyway. Um,
So we'd have to act on it in January.
why don't we just wait to see on that one until
well, but
legislation decide?
I mean, really what you're changing here is the accrual of sick leave. Right, and the carryover.
Which currently our part-time staff don't have any sick leave.
Right.
So
So,
this changes things quite a bit.
and if you do it, whatever we make it effective is the date that accrual starts.
Well,
Right.
we could make that, let's say our Board of Health meeting in February is the 27th.
Right.
Well, we could vote it into place on February 25th or whatever day
On
it's.
27th, back effective
Right.
February 1st. The date of the statute change.
When's your payrolls? So we start with 16th, we start the 30th, the 13th, the 26th.
We still had a full board meeting in January, right?
Yeah.
We started payroll on the 24th. The 21st is actually the end of the payroll.
Well, here's the question, if it's effective on the 21st. At 12:01 a.m. on the 21st.
So
That's
one
not-
day of that payroll.
Right, but if we put an effective, if we put it in policy and we make the policy effective, let's just say,
February 21st.
whenever we make this policy effective, that's when that part of the policy would be effective. But if you could do it on February 21st, I mean, I guess if you wanted to, but if we're gonna make the change,
Well,
we can make it at any
are
time.
you sure the software can do that?
No, the software absolutely cannot do that right now.
What day does it have to be implemented per state?
February 21st, that's when the law takes effect.
Unless it changes.
So, I mean, we're either gonna have, once we figure out what it is, we're gonna have to contact the software company and find out how to make it do it. But it can't do it right now.
I know, I'm just trying to retroact
Right.
thing for you guys.
Yeah, I definitely don't wanna do a retroactive thing. That would be, not that we can't do it, we could do it.
We've got a full board meeting in January.
Yes, we do on the.
Are there any other changes here that have to be implemented prior to his end?
So,
Have to,
we would like to have, the other ones done because of the, Division of Victim Services. They came and did our annual audit or review. And there are several items in here that, they needed some firmed up language for, so like page 6, for example. Where's the other ones, Teresa?
It was page 6.
Oh, 11?
Page, no, it wasn't page, oh yeah, yep, page 11, the sexual misconduct part.
Approve this. Pending.
Right.
Or just, yeah, just if we could do it without the page 25.
Oh, it's
26.
it's 25 and 26, I
Right.
think, right?
Yes,
It's like that.
But the
Because,
other two-
Well, right, because the maximum accrual.
yeah,
Yeah, so if we could do all of them except those two, hold those until January.
that would be a cleaner way to do it as well, because then we only have one thing to worry about.
thought they had a session schedule out here as to what days that they were going to be actually be in session. The legislature. I don't remember when their last legislative session day is. But
Either, but it's,
that's the 13th, so the 20th,
I was thinking it was the
or not
13th.
13th, no, let me get the right,
I was thinking it was the 12th, but
yeah. I was thinking that they were going, maybe the 18th.
doesn't matter which one.
Well,
December 23rd, there's a 10 a.m. session in the Senate. At
in
least,
2024, this says Michigan State Legislature is scheduled to convene on January 10th and adjourn on December 19th. In 2024. I don't know if that's still accurate.
Draw back from here. Both of them.
the 19th of December shows up on one of the representative schedules as the last day.
yeah,
Senate calendar 102.
But the Senate does show a day, but they won't hold it, right?
on what day?
The 23rd, they show a 10 a.m. session.
Who knows what they'll do?
Yep.
They could not adjourn till the, it says the 19th, but they could work till midnight, adjourn and reconvene and 12:01 and not adjourn until the 20th, so.
It does say on the Senate schedule, the 19th through the 21st of December are tentative. Anyway, I guess we know that by January, there will be some kind of decision, right? Either they did
Yeah.
it or they didn't.
Well, I was hoping that we would know even before the Board of Health meeting.
That's
The
like-
12th, what they're doing.
Right.
I guess I would entertain a motion to approve the changes except for the paid sick leave and maximum accrual amount for submission to the Board of Health.
You over that, Rusty, or you want me to?
Would you go ahead?
Yeah.
I'll support you.
Thanks a lot.
Any other questions on that? Hearing none on the motion to recommend to the full Board of Health the proposed changes to the personnel policy, except for the accrued sick time and maximum accrual sick time portion. Hearing, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. Next is the Board of Health meeting schedule.
So,
And I would make the argument that you still have a chairperson of the Board of Health after January 1st. Jared Hoffmaster continues to serve in that role until the Board of Health convenes and organizes for the next
true.
calendar year.
Yeah.
Jared is authorized, I believe, by the bylaws to make appointments to standing committee.
I think the question was that,
So John, do you know when Frank County will make appointments to the Board of Health, when you'll make those committee appointments, will you make that at your organizational meeting? Rusty, you
I
got
already know what's happening.
what's happened?
Rick Schaefer's taking my spot.
It is?
He sounds on too.
No, I'm just not surprised.
You,
So,
Yeah.
in that regard, with changes coming for membership, you know, once we know those changes, we could still have committee meetings because if there's something that needs to be done, because Jared could make those appointments through the, you know, through the organizational meeting of the Board of Health, the committees could meet if need be. And
My question is why don't we have it set up to, our committees stay the same until the 24th meeting when the new chair takes over and assigns committees?
well, because if you're not reappointed to the Board of Health,
Well, then whoever takes my spot takes that committee,
well, but that's gotta be,
because they're not smart, right?
because, well, but we don't get sworn in at this board. You get sworn in as a county commissioner.
Right,
And by St. Joe County making a different appointment here, now the chairperson would be still Jared, would Commissioner Hoffmaster would need to take those new appointments and assign them to committees within the Board of Health for the month of January. Then when we have a new chair, it's gonna be somebody from Branch County for next year, after the January meeting. They'll make those committee appointments for the next calendar year.
right.
Assuming we get Commissioner Hoffmeister.
I have to read different.
If,
Do you guys, you don't do your actual appointments though until pretty late in the month of January, right?
It'll be third Tuesday.
you guys don't do that at your organizational meeting,
Oh, good question. I don't remember.
I thought last year it
I'm
was
pretty
really,
sure the meeting.
I thought last year it was really late in January, so if it's the third Tuesday, that's the 21st.
my thing is,
I would,
Right.
I would leave them scheduled, but just say we can cancel them if not needed. To me,
finance, we met at finance, we were.
The, the finance board put forward to recommend that they be canceled at their meeting.
saying I would leave them scheduled. Because it's easier to cancel them after they're scheduled than it is to schedule one if you need it.
Well, you'll be able to discuss it at the meeting, right?
Mhm.
Okay, and so we'll go from there, and we know Tom's not gonna be at the meetings. We have 5 members voting.
Yeah, and again, like I said, I would say, I think we're better to leave them scheduled, leave them on the calendar. It's posted. If we need to cancel it, we just cancel it. We don't,
That's what,
and you won't be there because you'll be in Florida,
would,
January.
somebody,
So you'll be here for the committee meetings if they happen.
If we,
They're not.
I'm leaving in December.
Oh, December 20th.
Well,
you
and
have
that-
any- you don't have any idea what it's looking like for Branch County, for Tom's.
I'm still working on my team, and then I'm thinking, the new guy. Might be interested, I'm thinking Randall would be a better choice, but I'm working on that. When we are.
Randall's been a commissioner for years and he's never been in the hell.
Sorry, one more year, 4 months. 1 month more, you know.
So the finance committee meeting in January, if we stuck to the regular schedule, would be on Martin Luther King Day. So that is a Friday meeting in January instead of Monday.
that's why you changed that.
So the 17th is a Friday?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then I think we have the same problem in February because of President's Day.
I'm sure we do.
Yeah.
You went to the,
So you went to Valentine's Day.
I went to whatever it was last year and mimicked that.
and, you know, like you said during that meeting, you know, once we get new members on this board, they may have different conflicting dates and may need to change those committee meetings anyway.
We would love that.
Are you coming back?
As far as I know, yeah.
Okay.
We might. Not to talk to school.
Who knows?
It was,
Thanks to me.
That gets back to
Steve,
that crystal
ladies.
ball.
He didn't run again, did he? No. So that's someone else there too.
yeah, there'll be stuff. We're gonna have a few.
Several new
Great.
members, at least three.
Still have the old guard down.
All right,
Well, I meant you and Jared.
Oh,
Well, we'll miss those of you that don't come.
moving forward,
Not really feeling it.
We do
Item-
enjoy talking.
item
to
4D,
Rosie.
Mud Lake.
Mud Lake, so when you get new staff members, in positions of leadership, you do a lot more, conversations with the state, to make sure that things are as they should be. And so one of the things that, Kyle and Joe have learned is that in this particular situation with this plat, because it's in a platted subdivision, the actual appeal falls under Eagle and the administrative rules as opposed to the local ordinance that is passed by the three counties here.
Where is that? Because I looked at the administrative rule, I looked at the Land Division Act, and the definition of the department is vague because it includes in the definition of the department, the local health department. So I'm sorry, I don't want Eagle involved in anything if they don't
Me
have to
either.
be.
Well, so,
So tell Eagle
Yeah.
that they're members of the Board of Health that say, you better show it to us in black and white,
right,
black and white. Because I've had too many instances with Eagle lately, specifically regarding the material management plan,
yeah,
Mhm.
that the statute says you must have somebody from the regional planning agency.
Yeah.
And Eagle representatives are telling people, well, you don't have to comply with that. You can just find somebody that does planning locally. That's a violation of the statute. Statute is statute.
well, it's gonna be a mess all around the state.
Yeah,
I actually would like to go to Andy and have him dig into this for me. Well, but I don't know how much time that might take him.
well, so Eagle told them that they're,
This is the direction from Eagle. You do not, local health department, have the authority to hear this appeal. Only we do. And so you must redirect.
Kind of gets away from rolling from the bottom up, doesn't it?
well, so, you know, words have meaning and meaning means a lot. If we have somebody with an insurance claim and let's say that that claim is denied for a certain reason. We always have to cite and type specifically from the policy that language that precludes, you know, why this isn't covered. If Eagle's saying that it's their job to where, because I'll tell you, I typed in some of these rules and I can't even get them to come up on Eagle's website.
We'll dig into it for you. Tell them that they need to help us identify where these are and.
Cause I don't think we need to spend money with Andy if Eagle should give us that
Well,
information.
I just don't know. I know what they've already told us. So, but yeah, we'll tell them that they've gotta share the actual references.
So, yeah,
My, we used to like get there and over.
So that is the letter that went to the property owners. Kyle's been continuing to communicate with them, and sharing contact information for Eagle with them.
So
Well,
I'm
and-
assuming they wanted to go across the street or something with the,
and
what's
I
the
will say,
details?
as I read this, were we even supposed to be the ones to accept the permit application on it, or was that supposed to go to Eagle?
Yeah, how can we accept the permit?
Did we refund them the money?
I don't know. I would have to check and see where we're at with all of this stuff. I mean, we certainly can.
Yeah, I mean, if they're taking jurisdiction, I mean.
Well, it has to do with the Land Division Act and the rules of play. But, local health departments still issue permits for these sites, but yeah, I don't know what to tell you. I'll ask them to.
What's the specifics on what they're trying to do here?
So this is a lot that is on a channel in the lake. So the channel in the lake,
Right.
and it's this little corner here. So this lot has been made smaller. It's been subdivided over
Yeah.
time. So it's even smaller than it originally was on the original plat. The soil in this, it is exactly what you would expect if you're on a channel in a lake. It is muck, it is spongy. So our environmental health code requires 24 inches to the seasonal high water
Right.
table. Most of the property is 8, maybe 10 to just standing water, doing auger boring. There is one little corner, this corner that would be down here, if this is the lake and the channel, where they can get about 24 inches. But that's just this corner. It wouldn't be the area in which a septic
Drain field,
system
right.
would be needed. Over the years,
Live there now, Jerry.
they live across the road in a house that it's kind of across and down. The house is not handicapped accessible and
The house they live,
yes, there's no house on the property that they're asking to build on. So they're looking for something that is handicapped accessible. And, of course, this is right on the lake, so.
And the lot's probably not big enough to build it up.
Well, from what Kyle has told me, Diane has indicated that they already know they're gonna have to bring in all kinds of fill to even be able to build there, like $50,000 to $60,000 worth of improvements to the property just to start building. But, that is what they're prepared to do. So our initial review when we went out there was a denial because there wasn't 24 inches to the seasonal water table. I had the staff go back out after we got the appeal because this was during the transition when Paul left. And I said, I would like you to go back out and do more than one soil boring. I want to know that you've checked other areas of this lot and not just where this
Right.
one boring was. So they did that. Joe and Kyle and Cody all went out there and did that. And they didn't find anything anyway, but we at least did a much better, more thorough review, in my opinion. So then we had conversations with them about there just isn't anything here. But maybe if you can find land across the road, you might be able to do an easement or some type of a thing to establish a septic system over there. Eagle is telling us that the administrative rules say that the lot itself has to support the system. That we can't put a system across the road in another area.
What if they join the tax ID numbers and it's the same one?
Well, the area that they have available is currently part of the lot where the house is, right? So it would be across the road, and apparently there's a little bit of a hill, so it's, you know, it's up on higher ground, and that lot, apparently, I haven't been up, but that lot apparently is larger, and there would be room to put a septic system. But again, we have been advised that we cannot do that, that it is a violation of the Land Division Act and the administrative rules.
Again, I would tell Eagle, you've got members of your Board of Health that are saying where specifically because
Mhm.
that I started the subdivisions of land, you know, DEQ, you know, the 560.401, you know, and the Land Division Act. And I can't see anywhere where Eagle is granted that authority.
I'll push back.
I mean, I could see where you'd have to combine the tax ID numbers.
Well, I don't even think you have to combine the tax ID numbers. So what would happen?
So what happens if you sell that other piece of property off and
Well, you would,
your sewer's over there?
well, but you would reserve for, you would write an easement into that legal description for the other parcel for that.
Because we have brand new staff.
They
And
called them.
yeah, and we had just had them in here for a training, because we do have, like, almost everybody here that is working in EH is, they've only been here a year, maybe 2 years or less. So, yeah, we had them in to do a training, and, there was another property that we used as an example while they were here, and basically they told us, and I sat through that training with them, and they said, well, if this gets pulled during accreditation, it's gonna be a fine. You're in violation. So I don't know,
Truthfully,
we're a year out from accreditation, so not this March, April, but a year from now, March, April. They'll be here to do the accreditation audits and reviews, and we are all expecting, all health departments that have been, we are all expecting to cite all kinds of violations and the on-site sewage program. So it'll be interesting to see how it all turns out, but I am not at all surprised about this based on when they were here, the conversations that have been happening.
Gary could appeal and you go.
They can, and they are planning.
It's not gonna be our fault.
My guess is they will not even hear the appeal. They'll say it's just not even appealable because of the size of the property or something.
that's the problem with letting big government try to handle our little.
Yeah,
Okay,
I do, well, I used to.
in case of emergency, put a briefcase in the back seat of my truck. Teresa.
well, I will be happy to push back. I don't expect a better answer. Well, I'll be happy to push back. They have indicated to us as well that they have some AG opinions. They're attorney-client privileged, and they can't share them with local health departments. That
If
provide some
they're
guidance.
then they should be available on the
You boil 'em.
AG. They would be, you don't even have to FOIA, depending on when they were, all Attorney General opinions are available on the Attorney General website.
Well, maybe, what is that step before they're actually opinions? They're like, there's something, there's another term. I don't know. They,
AG guidance.
maybe, and they have
That's Eagle
told
coming in
us
rounds.
that they can't even share these documents with us. So,
Well,
I-
because, I mean, reading from the, and, okay, we live on our county's border, different state.
right,
You can go to Hillside County and actually you border 2 states.
right.
So if I had property in Hillside County, I would come build a house on it. But just because of the lay of the land, if I own property across the state line and that's where my septic system's gonna go, what happened?
Well, it's not a subdivision, so life is good. I don't know, honestly, it's just a 40-acre plot. And you can put your septic system over there all
Well,
day.
legally, they would be different, they are different. It is different deeded property because it's in different states, it would be different
Yeah.
parcel and stuff, but yeah.
And tax different and everything.
It's not,
Is it gonna?
Did you listen to any of the hearings yesterday? The Senate hearing?
no, I didn't, not that, no.
So they heard,
Actually worked yesterday.
you heard,
Pay for it, then.
they heard testimony on the statewide sewage code yesterday. So,
Did anything happen on the committee?
so I was only able to catch like the last 30, 45 minutes of it. And so what I heard were several individuals give testimony. I missed the earlier testimonies and the reading of the cards.
We can go back and watch it again.
You can. But what I thought was really interesting is that the private industry wants this to pass. It's not just
Of course.
it's not just the realtors, but the private industry wants it because they're looking at it as another way for them to have work to do and make money.
And when the state does it, you name your price.
Well, it's
Well,
not
these
state, it would be-
evaluations have to occur every
Five,
however many periods of years. There certainly aren't enough staff in local health departments to do these evaluations. So there are parts of that legislation that's good, like a registry and the technical advisory council. Those
Well-
are the parts that we think are good parts. The rest of it, not so much.
well, let's be honest. I drove by countless houses today on my way here,
How many?
out in the country.
Yeah,
They have a drain field.
yeah.
Maybe you're
No.
not well.
They have a drain field.
I'm catching on.
I know of at least two within short distance of my house that are that way. Because that's what was done.
Yeah, the brain tunnels, yeah.
Well, I mean, it's a separate tile.
Yeah.
It crosses the field as it goes to the
Creek.
creek.
Mhm. We find them all the time over in Hillsdale, especially. And, you know, when they do need a new septic system, usually we try to get those cut off at that point, but I don't know, I mean, what happens after we leave?
It's a different breed.
A different one.
I went by Branch County today that I know exactly where their drain fields are.
Yeah, you know,
It's fine. You're big in Hillsdale.
it's not a one county problem, but we do tend to find them more over in Hillsdale because of the soils over there. The soils are heavy. It's just a different kind of landscape, so.
I got a huge drop to the river, so it works out perfect.
Number 5, public comment. None.
Yep.
Adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
I'll support. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries.